Welcome back to another great episode of Kyndra's Corner. Yes, I'm wearing yellow. You know, I had to bring this sunshine. Okay, had to bring this sunshine to y'all, man. And yes, my nail polish is royal blue along with my feet. Okay, stop playing with it. Don't play with it now. Okay, you know how I come. You know how I come, y'all. Rich Auntie is here. Man, you know what? We got great attendance of people, man. We got my boy, you know, the man of myth, the legend, and I'm gonna bring him, you know, to the front. Lance is here. You know, he literally just got off tour. You know, he was out there on doing the unicycle thing, juggling fire, you know, and acrobatic type moves. Like he is that guy, right? Does you know, children's parties. He even has performed events at weddings. Okay, like I want to be like him when I grow up. I want to be like him when I grow up. And you know what? We got somebody who has not been here in a while. I'm just so happy to know that he's back. All right, back like 4 flats on a Cadillac. We got the pimp. He's in the building. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and bring them both. But you know, I gotta hit y'all with my random spills. You know what? I'm gonna be real with y'all. Big clits are scary because ain't no way you got a whole Vienna sausage under your hood, man. And ladies, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all as well. You do realize that, you know, no matter how in love your man is with you, he still wants to eat by himself sometimes. Okay, can you just give him that space? But I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm very clingy, so I guess I gotta practice what I preach. Well, let me go ahead without further ado. Go ahead and bring Lance to the stage.
Yeah, I'll just sit here.
Go ahead and bring him when he makes his arrival back to the stage. How you doing?
Yes, everything is amazing. I just actually was trying my hardest to decode that joke. Because the thing is, I had to be like, everything you were saying, I was trying to picture in my mind. I was like, okay, if this is under the hood of Vienna sausage and yada, 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 and a man wants to eat by himself, I have to picture me eating by myself. Like, what am I eating by myself? Like, and the joke I was just trying to decode. So that's why I was just looking crazy. I like.
Well, let me give you another one that you can decode. You know what, men? I know you know. Hey, y'all love those macaroni sounds when you up in that thing. But I'm gonna keep it real with you, ladies. Some of y'all's macaroni, it has bacon bits in it. Okay.
Are you serious?
Right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But hey, Pimp, how you doing, Pimp?
You're muted, Pimp. You're muted.
What's going on? What's up?
Hey.
Everything is well. Everything is all right.
Y'all's week has been good. Everything is everything for y'all.
It's been going. It's been going. You might as well not complain when it is bad. So you know it is what it is. But yeah, everything is wonderful. It's the weekend for the good man. 420 weekend at the same time. So shit, it is what it is. What's up?
Hey man, there it is. There it is. Well, let me go ahead without further ado. Pimp, let me bring it to you first, since I know you haven't been here in a little while. So, question 1 is, do you believe love is primarily a choice, a decision to love someone, or a feeling that rises organically?
Who are you on, me?
Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
Pimp.
Okay, because your phone was doing something, I had to move. I don't know if it was me or the phone, so let me get on the other side. But anyway, I read that question earlier and looked into it. I think that's a double-edged sword. To be honest with you, I think you know you can learn to grow to love anybody. You know what I mean? And it can definitely be acquired. You know, but it's also sometimes it's just something about somebody that'll take you there. You know what I mean? You know, it's just It's a special something. You just can't never put your finger on it. You know what I mean? In other cases, you know exactly what it is and why. You know, but you have to be careful in following your heart and making sure that whatever reason it is, it's not for the wrong reason. You understand what I'm saying?
That's real.
All
That's
right.
actually real, and that's why you got to guard your heart, man. Because I listen. If there's somebody who I really like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like I talked about on the last podcast episode or the podcast previous. I said, oh yeah, but you gotta be mindful about that. Lance, same question with you.
Okay, like all the time, I have the weirdest answers. So let me break it down, my opinion. All right. So, well, my honest, let me just tell you my answer. I think it's more of an organic thing, if anything, but there is a but because it's weird. Me on a personal level, like I don't really like comprehend the logic of love really, because first of all, let's look at the first thing. Do you believe that is a primary a choice, a primarily a choice? Well, first of all, if love is a choice, that means you have to choose it, or you have to choose a partner to love, or choose something. That means there's other things that you're not going to give love to, or times where you're not giving love to. And most of the time, or damn near all the time, you choose according to conditions. And love, real love, is unconditional love. So of course, if you have any condition with it, it's a transaction. Okay, I'm going to not love this man or woman. I'm going to love this man or woman because he or she got this from me. Then, like, if she gives me this, then I'll love them. Okay, and it's the same thing, like a decision to love somebody. Those two choices come with conditions, and anything that's conditional is a transaction. It's like you work for me, I pay for you. Very transactional. It's a trade, it's a currency. So technically that can't be like a decision or a thing. And not only that, even if you are with somebody you like and you tell yourself, don't love this person because this person may break my heart. You know, technically that's not love, that's fear, because that's what you're operating off of. Now this is the last thing I want to get, the feeling that rises organically. Now there's the problem with people in 2025. We don't know the difference between love and lust. Just like I told you all the time, Kyndra, and I aggravate you a lot in these recordings. I hate it when these rappers rap about, oh, I'm so in love with this girl I seen at the club. No, that's lust. Okay, how can you fall in love with someone that you only seen the body of? Like, that's not even possible. So people would say, oh, I just got to see love at first sight. How do you know that's not lust at first sight? It's very confusing when it comes to rise organically. Even if it does rise organically, you begin your friendship off conditional, technically, because that person gave you something, or that person done something to make you, very comfortable with him or her. But that's my opinion.
I know Pimp had a question. Go ahead, Pimp. You want to chime in about something that you said?
Yeah, my bad. I didn't want to. It's not a question actually. I actually neglected. I think to comment on the other side. What did another part of that question that I got when he was answering?
Oh, I'm sorry, Pimp. I'm sorry, Pimp. Were you raising your hand this whole time?
Yeah, I did. I was just trying to make sure.
I'm sorry. I had a window that was on the side of the screen. It was covering you. I couldn't really see.
I just wanted to make sure that I had a chance to say this before we went to the next situation, or Kyndra got to what she was saying. I think the part of it was, is it something that we can choose to do or whatnot, loving the person?
Yeah, let's see.
A decision to love somebody.
Yeah. Is it a choice or whatnot? Correct.
Yes.
Right. Shut up. With that being said, I don't believe that the decision to love someone as a choice is never a good decision. Okay, if you have to choose to love someone, then that means you got to deal with something, or you are dealing with something. You know what I mean? So the choice to love someone shouldn't even never arrive. If you're with somebody or you're dealing with that particular person, if that love doesn't come automatically and you don't start to gain that love for them automatically, then it's something that's going on that makes you question it anyway. So if I got to choose whether I want to love you in spite of or despite of, and we'll get to that part later because I definitely got something to say about that too. But if I got to love you because of all these and that conditions, nah, I don't think I want to. But I'll tell you the other part of that when we get to question 2. And that's all I want to say.
Okay. Well, before we get to question 2 and stuff, Miss Rashana has made it. She made it. I know you were MIA last week, but I said my girl is back.
I had to work, man. I had been to work since 4 o'clock that evening. I
Woo!
was so mad. Yeah, I was so mad.
Listen. Next time if you listen, I can just call in for you. I can be like, hey, this is an emergency. Get on. You know.
I wish it could work like that. I wish.
Basically, the question of, I know you say you don't have that much time, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and say what you gotta say. You just let me know how what you want to do after you answer this question or so. But I want to go ahead and get you knocked out with this question. So basically, the question is love primarily a choice, a decision to love someone, or like that more so an organic feeling? What would you say love is?
As I have always said, love to me is actions to me. And to be honest with you, a lot of people use the word love, use the word love, but really don't know what it means.
Exactly.
With that being said, sometimes I just feel like this. If you love a person, you're gonna show them because it's actions. If like I say, you can, it's different type of, it's different type of love. You can be in love with someone and love someone, and sometimes you got to learn the difference in which one it is. You can have love for a person but not be in love with them. You get what I'm saying?
I think in this situation we're talking more relationship values, and that's why I answered the way that I did. Being in love and then loving somebody, those absolutely two of the same different things. So, being in love is pretty much what we're talking about, I think, because you love friends and homeboys and sisters and brothers and cousins and stuff like that. But in relationships, we're talking about, loving as a choice, or do it come, like I guess naturally or acquired or whatever.
I think it's natural because because you can't control your heart.
That's
if
true.
you love a person, you're gonna love them regardless. Your heart, you can try not to, but because of your heart, you know what I'm saying?
Let me get into what I think you're trying to say. When you're loving a person in a relationship, you have to also love them as a friend and everything else, because it's gonna be times that you got to do things for that person, or be around that person, look at that person, see that person, or whatever the case may be, that you ain't gonna be feeling love. You might not be, just in that lovable state at that particular moment, but that don't mean you don't love them. So that kind of go with what you're saying. It's the different types of love and stuff like that. But when you do love a person truly in a relationship, you know what I'm saying, that stuff start to intercede with other things. So, like you say, people get that word, they use it loosely. I think is what you were trying to say. People use the word love loosely. You know what I'm saying? And they don't understand that when you say you love a person to the extent of what you're willing to do or what you're willing to go through or whatever, because you love that person.
And I just want to know, like, why, like, if you ask everybody on this planet or everybody that we know, I just want to know, where did everybody get the definition of love from? It's weird because they have parents. The majority of Black people, sadly, our norm is that our parents never got loved. Okay, so we can't get out the definition from our parents because they never understood love. You know, we can't get it from social media because 9 times out of 10, everybody on social media are gonna say they never properly got love. So you're in an environment where
a lot of people lying about that too, though, fam. Let me tell you something. Your parents and grandparents and people loved each other to death, fam. My grandparents and my people love themselves to death. They can't say they didn't have love, my nigga. They loved each other to death. My people always had gatherings. My grandmother cooked Sunday breakfast, homemade biscuits and bacon and eggs for everybody every Sunday. It's up to you to come and to lock in with everybody. If you don't, that's up to you. You know what I'm saying? And that's showing love. It don't matter if you coming or you ain't coming. It's here for you. It ain't gonna act no way the next week. It's still gonna be here for you, and it's still gonna be here for you. And as generation pass on, we don't even see each other now as family members. You know, and not even to say a dinner or something. It's either a reunion or a funeral.
But don't still that mean that you don't that still don't mean that you don't love them, you know, love them, but you just love them from a distance.
Of course, you can do that. You can do that, but what I'm saying is we can't use that our people didn't have love as an equation in our lives as an excuse to say that's not how we doing things. We can choose to not love because of that. You see what I'm saying now? Because I can say that.
Respectfully disagree with Lance because I'm like, wait, where are you getting your statistics from? Because
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I ain't want to say I disagree, but I want to say in a different way that, you know, nah, my people, you know, and I know a lot of black people that's like that, grew up like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's just a few of us that continue to do that. You know what I mean? You know, and that's a generational curse that I've been trying to break in my family to kind of get people to continue to try to come together and do stuff just because, not because it's a death in the family or because it's been 10 years. You know, we got so many cousins, but then there's so many mile radius. There's no reason why we should not interact and do something sometimes. But you're a to go outside the family.
So how about when it comes to a relationship, right? Now let's say that, you know, the people I talk to every day about the same situation about love, right? So my thing is when I be seeing these women and men, mainly women, complain about how much they love their exes, it was a terrible relationship, they love their exes. Okay, so what are they talking about? Like they did not enjoy the relationship at all. But they keep saying that I love my exes. Like, what do you mean? Like,
well, it's because more than likely it's a couple of reasons. Number one, more than likely when you depart from a relationship, the only thing people speak about on most occasions is the negativity. They're not gonna sit there and say we ain't together no more, but I loved him to death. That nigga did this and did that, or she was so everything, and we just wasn't compatible. They won't say that. They'll sit there and give you every excuse why that man wasn't right for them or what he was doing and how he got jammed up, you know, or how she wasn't doing what she was supposed to as a woman. Whatever excuses it is, but majority of the time, it's not going to be the positive things that are talked about. If people focus on the positive things in the relationship, they'll see, guess what? It's way more positive than it is negative. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. If a nigga mess over you or a woman mess over you, hey, I still don't mean, you know, that's a bad negative, true that, but it's still just one negative. You know what I'm saying? What that's got to do with all the other positives that's been involved. You know? Now I can understand some situations you just can't be there. You just can't love. But you know, in most situations, if you got a trying man and a trying woman, love should intercede and cover that multitude of sins.
But it's got to be both. It's got to be both in a relationship. It can't be one that love and the other one don't. You know what I'm saying?
And I always say this, and I preach this to everybody, the goose and the gander. Everything I say on this cast, on my prayer line, on my live feed, on my own storyline, if I say something about something, it's just as good for the man as it is for the woman. I definitely agree.
But I believe women show more love than men, because men can walk out faster than a woman. A woman would give a chance after chance. A woman would give a chance after chance. I guess I'm just one of the women. That's why I say I have to put I'm gonna have to put that shield. I'm gonna have to put that shield over my heart because, like I said, I have a heart of gold. I got like I said, I said in some ways, I know I got certain situations, certain stuff I need to work on. But at the end of the day, my heart is gold. My love is real. I show it. My actions to show who I am. But it's certain men, and I'm gonna say it like this because I don't mess with women. But it's men out there that play with a woman like me, and then make it hard for the next man that I do meet, and make it hard for him because of what I went through with this last one or the one before that.
You can't treat nobody about nothing that somebody else
Yes, you
did to
can. You can
you.
treat a person with what you done been
No,
through.
what you can
That's
do
why
is
it's
change
Yes,
called
the way
I
you
heal.
think.
agree. I do.
You
Well,
That's
can,
why I call heal.
you can
It's
change, you
called
can change the
heal.
way you can change the way you deal with people, or you can change the way you let yourself be open. But you can't treat that man according
I
to
didn't say
what other men
no no
do.
no 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 no.
I'm not
Let,
gonna
let,
treat a
let me
woman
rephrase.
that I
Not
meet according to
not
what
treating
no
him.
other woman do to me. You know what I'm
Not
saying?
treating
I'm
him
gonna
as
give her
hold
the
on.
opportunity.
Hold on. Let me
Hold on, wait, pimp. Hold on. Let her speak. Go ahead.
not saying let's treat this man as dogging him because what the last two did. No, I'm saying go into this with your with your heart with a shield over it to make sure that you won't end up like you just did in these same two situations. I'm just being
But at the
honest. That's
same
just
time, at this age, everybody doing that, bro. I mean, come on,
no,
boo
everybody
boo.
not doing that. No, not
I
no,
mean,
everybody
it's
not doing
it's
that.
some it's some. Let me tell you something. If I don't know nothing about you, yeah, I'm coming in there with my guards all the way up, like I'm ready to box if that's what's got to happen. If I got some kind of past with you, know something about you to some sort of kind of way, yeah, I can fuck with you a little loosely or whatnot. But yeah, if I meet somebody on the slab tomorrow and I'm finna start dealing with this person, yeah, I ain't finna go in there and let this woman be, and I'm not gonna be just fully vulnerable to this woman. I could never do that because of my past, like you just said. So,
Yeah,
I'm not going to
but
treat her according to that,
yeah,
but I'm going to
exactly. I'm
handle
not saying
myself
no.
according to it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah. No, I'm just not saying no. Just don't go in the relationship treating
No,
this
don't
nigga
dog
like
because,
like fuck you.
it
No,
ain't
but
even
I'm going
about
there,
dogging the
but
women.
have an open eye. Have an open
Right.
eye and keep your intuition open at all times.
That's all you got to do.
I'm just saying.
That's
Well,
all you got to do.
let me go ahead. I want to answer the question, and then we can go to question two. So basically, I would say that love is more so for me. I believe it's an organic feeling. You do have some people who do make that decision. Okay, I guess I will love this person because of the fact that they're doing all this for me. So I guess I might as well love. And it kind of falls in with the that being like a primarily a choice. But I really feel like it's more so or an organic feeling. Like I think that we all have at some point first person I was like, man, I really love this person. Like it's happened, probably before you hit the age of 30, right? It happens to all of us. So that is what I will say. Let me go ahead real quick. Go with question number two. And Miss Rashawn, I'm going to come to you first. What was the first or most memorable time that you learned not to involve yourself in someone's relationship? Like for example, your homegirl calls you or homeboy calls you, tell you what's going on, venting and whatnot. You like, you know what? I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna try to save the day. I'm gonna try to rescue you from this domestic violence situation. And then you realize it backfired on you. The first or most memorable time you said, you know what? You got to mind your business when it comes to people's relationship. Go.
My sister, my oldest sister, her and her baby dad, I was living with her at this time. We was younger. And they got into an argument. He pushed her. Of course, this is my oldest sister. I look up to her. She's 3 years older than me. And he pushed her, and oh my God, I went in on him like, fighting. And he literally, like, I mean, I'm small, I've always been small. And he literally slung me from one damn door to the other. And my sister was like, no, 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 Rashana, you gotta go.
What?
The fuck?
What?
Yeah.
She
She
told
told me I had
you. So wait.
she told me I
They
had to
kicked you
go.
out the house?
She told me I had to go. She was
They
like, that's her. Well, that time she was like, this my boyfriend, this my baby daddy, this I blah blah blah. I was like, oh, you know what? You're right.
You
You
say he slapped
exactly
her?
right.
You say he
And
slapped
he
her?
saw
Or
me,
he pushed her?
huh?
He pushed her
Huh?
or he slapped her, you said?
No, he pushed her. He pushed her down.
Oh, okay. And then you went in with
I
a
went in
combat.
on it. Yeah, you're not gonna push my sisters. Like I
And he,
got
and he,
three sisters.
but
Yeah,
he
you're not
pushed
fit.
you, he pushed you though.
Now, hell no, he slung my ass from one door to the other. He bust my mouth, put it like that.
And
Um,
your sister actually kicked you out the house because
Yeah,
you
she said I had. Yeah, well, he said he hit me like that because I did hit him in the eye. So I had a busted lip and he had a black eye. I did hit him in the eye though.
Okay, well, good.
But that's my sister. I mean, that was a lesson learned. And I think I was at the age of, I don't want to say 21, 22. After that, I try to break them up before it's jumping in it or something. I never do that again with no one. Like,
I want
I try to.
I want to ask this quick question before I pass. I'm gonna pass it to Lance next. Quick question.
Mhm.
How long? Well, two-part question. Where did you go from? Like, okay, well, kind of two, maybe three-part question. How long did it take for you to? Did they give you for you to be like, okay, leave? That's the first question. Like, was it immediately a day later, get your stuff, go, or did they give you like a couple of weeks?
No, get my stuff. Get my stuff and go. Cause I mean, I could go back to my mom's house, but yeah, she like, you just got to go. But at that point, she didn't have to say minute, hour, nothing. I was packing my shit then. It was time for me to roll out.
My second part of that question is, how long did it take for you guys to finally start back talking again after that day?
I never stopped talking to her. I stopped talking to him, but I never stopped. I mean, my love for my sisters is unconditionally. I'm not gonna never stop, messing with them because of a situation. My own sister that didn't even show up at my wedding.
No.
Yes, I was mad. Yeah, I was mad.
No.
I was mad with her for a while, but that's still, at the end of the day, that's my sister.
It's horrible. And then the last part I was gonna say was, how long were they together before they officially ended? Because some point it comes to an end.
Yeah, I think they was together like another 6 to 7 years, maybe.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, thank you. Mr. Lance, your turn, sir.
I haven't really had any experience getting into someone's relationship because I was just always just scared to, and I never was really into getting in people's business and stuff like that. So I can't really answer that question, but I can tell you a viewpoint from the opposite end. I can actually tell you how stupid it is to get into your people's relationships because, I was in relationships where, this woman actually really liked me and, we was kind of close. And the biggest turning point, I mean, there was a lot of turning points in a relationship, but what made it slope down even more was the fact that she getting all this advice from her friend who never seen me before, who never seen my social media profile, but don't even know me from a can of paint. But then her friend was giving her advice to break up with me over one little tiny thing we was talking about. And it's like very stupid. This woman do not know me from a can of paint, and she is telling this woman to break up with me over one tiny little thing I said that I've already apologized for.
I gotta know, what did you say?
I forgot. I already forgot. I honestly forgot. It was so long ago. That was like 8 years ago. It was some tiny thing I said, and I don't want to kind of make nothing up. I don't want to lie or whatever, but it was something I said that she just felt a little triggered about. Something very minor. Something, it wasn't a threat. It was something very minor. I think I roasted her or something. I forgot exactly what it was, but it was something very minor. And then she was like, yeah, that's a shitty nigga. You know what I'm saying? He just like your exes and you need to get away from him. It's like, and I was a simp back then.
Well, you guys about those type of like, I'm sorry to cut you out. I had something I just wanted to say real quick. You have got to be, ladies, let me tell y'all something. Please, man. You have got to be mindful of who you're listening to. This is why it's important to have wise counsel people. It's like friends. As you get older, you realize you don't have to have, okay, the amount of friends I have, 5, maybe 4.
Like, that part.
That's the same thing. That's the same thing when it comes to, the advice. You have to have someone that is going to give you good sound advice and is not going to sit here and talk you out of, what God has for you. Come on now. What do you, that's what happened in the Garden of Eden. Satan came and talked Adam and Eve out the garden, came pretend to be their friend, pretend to be her friend. And guess what? She went back and he's like, oh, you should try this fruit. It'll make you lose it. Come on now. And look what happened. I'm sorry. I just want to say that. Go ahead, Larry.
You're good. You're good. And I'm not saying that, I'm not gonna lie. your friends can give you some really good advice, especially if there's an obvious red flag. If he actually sees this nigga with a gun headed towards your house, yeah. I mean, if it's obvious red flags, go warn them. But I mean, something so minor. I forgot exactly what I said or whatever, but she was okay. She was 100% okay. She said it was all right. You know, I said, I'm sorry. I told her that it was wrong. We was friends again, but then boom. But in other words, I had also instances where, you know, I was confessing my feelings to this girl, and literally I'm thinking it's a whole private conversation through the phone. Then she literally had her friends on the other line, like on the third call, listening to the recording, and they was all up on my business and stuff like that. And you know, ever since then, it's like I was always like scared of women with friends. But in other words, that's just some minor off-topic things I just had to say.
That is freaking crazy. Well, listen, man, I'm glad that you ain't with her, because baby, I know. Listen, man, I know. Pimp, go ahead, end us out, and then I will respond.
Excuse me. That's kind of crazy. I know how to say it in a two kind of part way, but the first with family, I had to learn that, you know, 2 or 3 different times, because you know you have to kind of play cabin for everybody when you got those kind of family values. You know, you don't want nobody doing this and doing that or whatnot. So if somebody get wind of something, you want to try to go show up and put some type of fear somewhere, or else, you know, let a nigga know that can't be happening or whatever, only for that particular person to continue to be with them anyway, you know. So because I did it with my one son or my one daughter, I mean, I ain't gonna do it with my sister because it's her turn. You know what I'm saying? I had to go through that a few times, so that's kind of understandable in a lot of situations. Now I have it to where they know they don't call me, they don't tell me nothing unless they really want some action. Because if they call me, they know I'm coming, and I'm not stopping if they call me. So they don't call me with their little bullshit and this, that, and the other. When they do call me, they know, you know, somebody need to get some money together because I'm finna go to jail probably. And on the other tip, friend wise, I've had a situation where I literally had to put, you know, we had to roll behind me being real, so to speak. And I don't get in people's business, but this particular guy is a silent nigga do no wrong. You can't pay this nigga to do no wrong. We didn't try to get him to do wrong. He wouldn't, you know, and caught her down bad. And I put her on it. And she flipped it around, told him that, you know, at the end of the day, I'm trying to get out, and I ain't telling him I'm trying to do this and trying to do that. I'm like, fam, that ain't who I am. And you know that. But he was like, yeah, that's, but I left it alone real fast. And he kind of felt some type of way because I said, well, I shouldn't have never got in y'all business anyway. So I'm going to leave it alone before you piss me off. And he said, well, nigga, you ain't got no business getting pissed off. And then it escalated from there. And we ended up really having a little roll. So that was when I realized in early 20s, I realized that shit, I never, ever get in nobody business whatsoever. I could walk in and see a nigga banging, nigga, bitch, I ain't in that, fam. Yeah, I ain't in that. I'm sorry. You can call me low down, call me whatever, you know, I just ain't in it.
Well, let me go ahead. Let me say this, right? I'm glad y'all learned from that first time, because maybe it has taken me a few times. I'll go ahead and give you guys a couple quick examples. The first time I was 18, homegirl I've known since middle school told me about her got into some type of, you know, fight with her boyfriend, some altercation, right? And I'm like, what? So I'm sitting there, I drove to the house, and you know, she's there, one of her other people's there, listen to her. I'm like, oh yeah, she done with him. Not realizing that there's not too many people who will actually leave that first time. Typically, once the police are called, that's when the relationship really starts, right?
One part in and the other part out. You feel me? You're absolutely right. Shit, it get crazy.
So with that being said, right? With that being said, I was angry, pissed off with my mom at this time, and I need a place like just go cool off. She said to come to my house. You can stay for a day, to just cool off. So I pull up, and lo and behold, I see Buddy. I said, and I look at him. He look at me, sitting on the couch, and she's like, "Well, dang, y'all, you ain't gonna speak." I said, "Hey," he's like, "What's up?" Then they didn't really even give me no real eye contact. So me and her ride off to Walmart, and I said, "What's going on?" And she's like, "Kyndra, we ain't here to talk about that, okay? We gonna sit here and talk about, what's going on with you and your mom and all that type of stuff." And I said, "Okay." She ended up staying with dude. She was with him at that point, I would say 5 years, maybe 6. She stayed with him for another 8 years because she started at 14. That was a 14-year relationship that she was in with. One thing she told me, and it still resonates with me, is that women is a couple things we don't play about, or I guess people in general. But I think she was saying with women is about one of them is about their man. Women don't play about that. I can't remember the other one. I don't know if it's about their money or something like that, but she said that. So after that, that was pretty much it. And even got to a point where I remember I went to go get my hair done by her, because she was also my stylist at the time too. And I remember, she doesn't remember this, but I remember pulling up at her house, but I felt the tension in the phone. I felt some tension. She was arguing with her boyfriend or whatever. But tell me why she laid. Here's a trick for y'all. If you want to get like cleansing of your scalp, put a little bit of I think it's Dawn soap. Put a little bit of Dawn soap on your scalp and let it stay for like a couple of minutes, and it literally cleanses your scalp. So there's a little trick for y'all. Yeah. Just let y'all know. Just it'll cleanse it, but don't leave it on too long. I told her this. She places on. She's like, "Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes." She went to argue with this man for 45 minutes, y'all. 45 minutes. She's back there screaming at him, yelling, "Da da da da! You MF this and da 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 da!" And I'm like, did she leave me at the sink to go and argue with this man? They come back out. They coming out. La 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 la. Did she? And at that time, I'm keeping real with y'all. I didn't have the balls to say anything because I kept thinking like, okay, Kyndra, what do you do in this situation? I didn't say nothing. I was just it really aggravated me that she went to go argue with him. I know this is your house, but baby, this is your money, and this is a really bad review about you. So I don't know what the status of their relationship is now. I don't even think that they're together. If I'm kind of piecing, different things, looking, I don't want to look at stuff via social media because people can put whatever they want on social media. However, I wouldn't put it past them if they don't even last that much longer. And mind you, that was like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. But yeah, and when I brought it up to her last year, she's like, "I don't even remember." Of course you don't. You've been in you're so, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm like, why is he letting her talk to her like that? I really wanted to be like, bro, you better have some balls and stand up to her. Why are you letting her run the relationship? You're 20 years older than her. Why don't you sit there and actually, like, who has to wear some pants around here? Child, that was freaking crazy.
Well, I guess it's this patriarchal thing that teaches men happy wife, happy life.
I don't believe that saying. I do not believe that. I can't stand that saying.
Yep.
I cannot stand that saying.
It's happy house, happy spouse.
No.
That is bullcrap. Like, I mean, and again, like,
It's happy spouse, happy house.
No, I said that wrong. I said that so wrong. I said that so wrong.
But
it's happy spouse, happy house. It doesn't matter what the spouse is. You keep your spouse happy, then your house should be happy. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. I said that so this world is construed to the woman like they always do. You feel me?
Yeah.
that to me, I'm like I said, I'm pretty much gonna be off of it in another minute or two. But like I said, I really honestly believe, like I say, stuff like that is like, bro. Yes, it is like got one of the commenters saying just toxicity. Like that to me is just ridiculous, and I would not wish that on nobody. Where your stylist is sitting here arguing with her man, like for what? And then I think she showed me her I think it was her middle finger where she had hit, like she had slapped him in the face or whatever the week prior. Right. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. It's some men out here who literally will just stay in these relationships because they have nowhere to go. So honestly, he had a whole bunch of BMs.
You ain't lying.
Okay, and Mike, he's very handsome. He is that tall, dark, and handsome guy. That it's salt, pepper, beer. Like what Pimp got going on, right? Like, oh, we love y'all, right?
because I fit the motherfucking criteria, don't put me out there like that. You know what I mean? But I done walked in them shoes too, though. I done been in some shit to where I stayed there because I literally didn't have no fucking where to go.
Yeah.
I done been there. Trust that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say to you, Kyndra, too. When you said something about the police, you want to get rid of me real quick? Call the police on me. You ain't got no worry about me again. That could be the first and last incident we ever had. Police calls on me. You will not hear from me again.
But that's
never.
But Miss Rashana, that's how it should be because again,
no. I don't play them laws.
You know your worth. You know
exactly,
your worth.
Exactly.
And I asked her. I said to her, so let me ask you, what in this situation could just if it happens again, let's say I'm out with some other people, I'm at their house, and they get to doing that. She says the only time that you should go intervene is if they're screaming out for help. And I'm like, but why does it have to get to that point though? But whatever. Like I said, it is. And I, like I said, I pretty much left it at that. But unfortunately, like I said, it is a shame when you do have men or women or just people in that realm who they will stay in that relationship because they have no place to go, right? But
that's got to be miserable. That would be miserable to me. I don't know. I've never I've never been in them type of shoes, and I pray to God I never have to be. But I just couldn't. I don't know. I just couldn't do it. I would have to go to a shelter or something. Salvation Army. I just couldn't live with somebody that just dogging me, and because I have nowhere to go. I mean, I have family I can call for money, something. Hey, get me the hell up out of here. I gotta go, because after a while it's gonna get domestic, and you're gonna end up snapping, doing something you'll regret for real. So I just rather leave. I just rather leave, and like I said, go to a women's shelter, go to Salvation Army. I just rather walk out of there because I know my state of mind. I'm all fucked up when it comes to that. Let's not do that.
That's it. Let me ask one more question. This is a cool down, a very silly question. Mr. Sean, let me hit it with you first. Why is it called a building if it's already built?
Ooh. Whoa.
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you. Listen, that question was so intriguing that she left.
Well, let me say this right quick because I don't have but like 3%. I don't know, my phone is shut down in the middle.
Go ahead. We can end it here. Go ahead.
Well, we don't have to end it, but I might have to end. I'll say, why is it called a building? It's already built. Number one, anytime you enter something, you're supposed to add to it.
Come on.
So anything that's there already could always become better. It can always become, bigger, and especially
building the word.
Yeah, and I'm using that term building, kind of loosely. So we're talking relationship status wise. So when you're trying to get into a built state of mind or a built state of, status, especially if you choose to enter into that particular status, which means you choose to have a person in your life, you choose to want to be married, you choose to want to do these things, then that means you're definitely trying to get in there to build up and not down. You know what I'm saying? So you enter into that, just because you already call yourself built, don't mean when you enter into that you're not going to be building further with that particular person. And before we go off, before I log off, I want to say I enjoyed the podcast tonight. It's very intriguing. But at the same time, on the love thing, with the relationship stuff and all of that, I want to say the other part about what I was saying in the first question, that when you start loving a person with the love of God and that agape love, that starts to overcome all that superficial stuff that goes on in relationships. All that stuff that people bring to the table that you're supposed to not like and you're supposed to want to have to deal with or whatnot. If you start loving a person with the love of God and that agape love, then you'll start disliking the same thing that your mate dislike. Because the same thing that hurts your mate, it'll hurt you. And the same thing make your mate smile and make you smile. Why do you do things for them? Because you want to make them smile. You know what I'm saying? So if that don't make you smile, then I suggest you not do it for them. But at the same time, again, this is the goose and the gander. So just know that, when you're choosing to get into that lifestyle, know that the ultimate goal, if you call yourself that particular person, again, we don't have an opportunity to choose the things we believe in and don't believe in when we call ourselves a believer of the word of God. So when you get into your relationship, know that the ultimate goal is to learn how to love them with the love of God, the agape love. So learn how to deal with stuff, learn how to get over stuff, learn how to forgive. Because at some point, if you don't, you're going to continue to have partner after partner after partner after partner. And before you know it, you'll never have nothing solid in your life. You'll grow old miserable.
Now that's why it's called heal. It's called heal. When you get out of a relationship like that, it's called heal.
Thinking you ain't putting up with nothing, saying you ain't putting up with this and you ain't gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? You'll end up by yourself forever. But again, those are for the people who say they choose to get into that. That's why I said that. It may not be for everybody, sweetheart. I'm not talking about everyone. I'm saying for those people who choose to say that, yeah, I want that type of thing. I want a relationship. I want to build into a marriage and stuff like that. And that's what we're talking about, these relationship type of loves and stuff. That's what we've talked about today. We ain't on the healing process. We'll talk about that on another part, but talking about the way we love and, how we should and what defines it and all this and that, when I choose to love somebody, ultimately, I'm going to love them whether we work out or not. I might hate them for a minute, or I ain't going to use the word hate. I might just like them very strongly for a minute, might go through some shit for a minute and might feel this kind of way, but boom, I'm going to continue to love them no matter what.
That's it. Okay, well, listen, I appreciate it. Before I go, Lance, go ahead and answer the question.
Okay, so my question, before I answer this question, is this dealing with relationships like this question?
No, it doesn't have to be. It can be about whatever.
Okay. Because I was like, okay, this does seem kind of off topic, but then I
just want to throw a silly question in there. That's all.
Okay. I like it because, as y'all know, I'm a teacher and I teach English to people in other countries. So I speak foreign languages. So I love playing with the English language. It's crazy. It's the same reason why apartments are built together. You drive through a parkway, but you park in a driveway. Quicksand.
I seen it somewhere a couple months ago.
Yeah.
I seen that on something.
Boxing rings are square. Pineapples are not apples. They don't taste piney, nor they're apples. Guinea pigs are not from Guinea, nor they're pigs. English muffins are not made in England. French fries aren't made in France. Belgian waffles aren't made in Belgium. The English language is just a fucked up language. Honestly, when I went to Iceland before, I've been there. I didn't see not one piece of ice. I've also been to Greenland. I've never seen any grain. It's backwards. I don't understand it. It's weird. Your alarm goes off by turning on. Are you serious? Just English is fucked up. That's my answer.
Well, I love it. Well, I agree. That's my answer. Listen, man, thank you guys so much for another great episode of Kyndra's Corner, man. I appreciate y'all. You guys have been wonderful. Thank you to the viewers, the commenters. I do appreciate it. And like I said, man, y'all make sure y'all do the right thing. Love people that you want to love, and don't sit here and be no toxic type of relationship or whatever. Like it's at some point y'all need to stop that. Like I say, by the time you hit like 25 years old, I don't know what you're doing all that for anyway. Okay, like your frontal lobe has developed supposedly. Okay, you 45 years old, still in these, just
games.
Just come on now. What the person is? That person's name Uno? Stop. So without that being said, man, listen, y'all be safe. Y'all be blessed.
All right, you too.
We are out.